Hi everyone, back hanging out with Jimmy. So thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate those who watched. It seems like a bunch of you watched my first video, and some of you watched my second one, and that's pretty neat for a new YouTuber. So thanks, and thanks for liking my story too. It's been a fun story, of course, and it's been a fun journey. So today, I figure we'll start back on the journey and kind of share a little story and or the reasoning between why do I choose buy and super long-term hold, as in now with Tesla, it's over 10 years. And a lot of my stocks I've basically bought a few years ago and I've just held them. I have sold some, but for most of my individual stock portfolio, I buy and hold forever, basically. So that takes me back to high school. I was lucky enough in high school, we actually had a stock market club. I don't know if that's, I'm pretty sure that's not a normal thing. Maybe it's becoming more common now, but I don't know. So what we got was we basically got $100,000 of play money. Oh, the reason I joined was since I didn't have many clubs on my college resume or high school resume for college, for applying to college. And I heard the stock market club's really easy and you get to be an officer without doing anything. So I was like, so maybe that's the first thing, is I'm kind of inherently, you can say lazy, but I work hard on the things that I really love to do. And I try to put in as little effort as possible in areas where I don't really want to put any effort in. So that's kind of a trait that I have. So that goes towards the long-term investing. But anyways, in high school they had a stock market club. You get $100,000 of play money, and you just pick a bunch of individual stocks, and then everyone compares the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year to see who wins. So I remember I think I went to two meetings, the first meeting and the last meeting. The first meeting where you go to the meeting and then you choose all your stocks, and if you want to be a VP, you're a VP. So I became a VP, and I did zilch the rest of the year, and then we had the second meeting at the end of the year. So I picked a bunch of stocks, and my rationale for what stocks I chose was probably what showed up first on my screen, because I just wanted to go off and eat my lunch and do whatever. It's probably $1 pizza day or something. So $1 pizza slice day. So that was my rationale. That's it. And I remember I picked my stocks. So fast forward to the end of the school year, and I looked, and I had made like 40 grand or something. So I went from 100 grand to 140 grand. And I remember laughing. I'm like, wow, I didn't do a thing. I thought, I had friends who were like trading. That was what they were doing during the club, and I didn't win. I think I did well, if you will, but what I remember was, wait a minute. So if I had $100,000 of real money in there, I would have had a 40% gain without doing a thing. So that was it. And then I kind of forgot about that for the next several years. And then I mentioned in my first video how one of my professors had mentioned how women outperform men in the stock market because they buy and they hold. I think at that time there were more transaction costs, if you will, or any whatsoever for trading. Now there really aren't any, but at the time there were. So the folks who buy and hold don't pay transaction costs. And I think the highest performing person on one of the big financial institutions ended up being a deceased person who just bought and hold a bunch of stocks for a long, through death, if you will. So I remember those lessons. So when it came to, so then you flash forward, as I shared, I bought my first Tesla shares in 2014. And, like any young person, and like most people, I suppose, I was watching the stock price and everything, and it kind of went up, and then if it went down a bit, I would buy, and then it went up, I got excited, and then it went down below where I bought it at, and it was just like frustrating, and I just kept buying. And then at some point, after a few months of this, I'm just like, all right. And I just put it aside, and I had those lessons in my mind from when I was in school, if you will, and I just pushed it aside, and that was it. All the hype in 2019, I heard people diving into the stock, and I missed it all. I literally, the next time I looked at my stock, at my Tesla stock, it already shot up, I don't know, 3-4 times or 5 times already, and I didn't know why. Someone at work told me. So that's basically why I buy and hold, is kind of the anchor. Plus I'm kind of inherently, like I said, like lazy about a lot of things, not everything, but about a lot of things. And I realize with stock, I'm inherently kind of lazy. So that, plus I'll talk more in a later video about how I look at risk reduction for myself and keeping risk down. And there's some poker analogies with that. I used to play poker. But that's why I bought and hold for so long. And so a couple other things I'll quickly say. One is, I realize that my time horizon is like 15 to 20 years for a lot. I hear a lot talking about, I have 3 to 5 year time horizon. I'm like, mine's, I'll hold it, obviously if I need money, then I'll sell before then, but I'm buying to hold forever, basically. And then secondly is, I watch the news, and it's really interesting. I see, I shouldn't say, I used to watch more news, but I don't really anymore. But I do check in on CNN and, other news sources. And it frustrates me to, one, see all this hype around stocks going down this week or up this week or whatever, because I know a lot of folks watch the news, and a lot of people, maybe some who shouldn't or can't afford to, are making decisions off these daily, these weekly, daily, monthly, daily, hourly sometimes, ideas and, strong ideas that are coming from our major news sources. And I've just ignored all these things sort of, I've held through COVID and elections and everything, because I'm looking at 2030, 2035, or even beyond that. So it's like, so I'm just kind of thinking, I try to use my imagination and think where the stock will be in 10 years, sometimes further than that, and then I'll buy. So maybe those time horizons have shrunk with AI and, obviously rapidly increasing technology, but that's what's done me well. And the other thing I'll say, in just talking to folks, folks that I know, both close and more acquaintances, is when people talk about individual stocks, they really talk about trading or what they're buying or what they're selling and everything. And I don't even have much to talk about in these, besides sharing kind of my idea, my strategy, which is just, buy and then do something else with my life. And it's like surprising to people, but people also dismiss it, which I found kind of interesting. I guess that's just human nature, if you will. But I don't know. I guess that's, So anyway, that's my thought. I hope that's helpful. I'll have many other of these kind of thoughts about me being a super long-term Tesla holder and other kind of, other things that have shaped who I am and why I've held throughout all the volatility. But give it a comment, and looking forward to the next video.